You smell it? Capitulation is in the air. It's almost here. Capitulation means when people just throw up their hands and say, I can't take it anymore, I'm getting out. And when that happens, that's when the market is at the bottom. Now, I remember let me see here real quick. And you'll see here, in March 12th of 2020, I said capitulation is almost here. All right, so what was the bottom of the cycle? I think it was March 23rd. Pretty doggone close. And I guess one of the benefits of, look, I don't know how this crystal ball. My crystal ball is broken many, many moons ago. But you see just the same level of concern that happens, man. It's capitulation with people. I can't take it anymore. I'm getting out. And I see the comments. I see the emails. I'm somewhat of a depository, I guess, of comments and emails because I have a channel and I see what people are saying. Now, you always got to be hesitant because comments aren't representative of the entire audience. But when you see the same line of comments go in one direction, that usually means something. And in this case, it's actually on the bond market. It's pretty interesting, actually, because I think people, by and large, recognize stocks go down. I can't imagine there's anyone out there today still investing that is griping about a 25% decline in the market. I mean, you can gripe about it, but I can't believe that's taken anybody by surprise. It should not have. I mean, hell's bells, man. We're down 19.8% in Q4 2018. We fell 33% or 35% in 33 days from Valentine's to March 23rd, 2020. Never mind what happened in 2008, 2015, just 2001 and 2. I can't imagine anyone is investing today who doesn't recognize the stocks drop on a regular basis significantly. If that's you, I don't know what the hell you're doing. That's crazy to me. But be that as it may. But there are still people like that, grant you. And I see them on my comments. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I hate to laugh. I'm like, what? Huh? I literally, I have limited patience for people investing in the equity markets who don't recognize the downturn potential of stocks. If you don't recognize that, you're not investing. You're speculating, and you shouldn't be here to begin with. Bonds, on the other hand, are new to people in terms of their decline, especially the violence that we've seen here today of this year. It's nuts. I mean, I've never seen it. No one's ever seen this. It's crazy to me. But the reason I used to say don't invest in bonds because there's only one direction from them to go was down. That's why I said in 2018, 19, and maybe 2020, I can't remember, but certainly 2018 and 19, of course, I was right. Bonds only had one direction to go, was down because they had a fixed yield. And if interest rates go up, the price of your bonds goes down. That's just a fact. That is literally. But now bonds are different. It's the same thing, except bonds now have a much higher coupon. I mean, the 10-year Treasury is at 4%. I can't get over this. Let's take a look at what the 10-year Treasury is doing right now. Finney, you got to answer your pants. You need to sit down, buddy. 3.964 the 10-year Treasury, which is higher than the 30-year Treasury, which is odd because why are the mortgage rates so high at 7%? Anyway, the 30 years at 3.8, the 10 years at 3.9. We've never seen this level of violence in the bond market in our lifetimes. And that's, I don't want to say it's a good thing, but this is where the capitulation is coming. I'm getting people left and right emailing me like, oh my goodness. I just like, okay, you can see it. And when the Fed stops raising because of the damage they've done to the economy. Now, remember, the Fed did not cause inflation. The Fed inherently can't fix inflation. The Fed can do damage, though. That's just a fact. They can do damage because they're raising the cost of capital. I mean, you see UK, right now they're suspending mortgages. Now, that's just temporarily to get they're like, holy crap, we got to reprice everything. I mean, but they're suspending mortgages in the UK because of the level of violence that has happened in the bond market. Never before seen. But everything shakes out. And when it shakes out, you'll be sitting there like, man, I own bonds, 10-year government guaranteed bonds that are paying 4%. But inflation is temporary, man. Until they get the freaking electricity, the energy costs down. And the way they do that is they're going to have to go nuclear, open up fracking, which is, look, man, populations are not going to take kindly to high increase in energy bills this winter. They're just not. No one. These politicians aren't stupid. Did you see that they're closed? So a lot of theory about the U.S. sabotaging the Nord Stream 1 and 2, and what they've now done is they've opened up this new pipeline from Denmark to Poland, right, to frack. They're fracking natural gas in Denmark and moving it to Poland, and that will go through Germany. So Germany, instead of being reliant on Russia, is now going to be relying on the Nordic states. None of this is green. It's all just wordplay, man. There's no other way around that. And so we know the reason is because they know the powers that be know that people aren't going to take kindly to having to freaking pay exorbitant energy for everything. And so the green is just all fake, man. And anyway, so they know this and they want to stay in power, man. There's no other way around that. And they're going to stay in power by making energy costs go down. It's just that simple. Increasing production, increasing nuclear. Here, Germany now, as opposed to mothballing 2 nuclear plants, they're going to keep it for another year. Well, that's just, I mean, that's not enough. That's just to get people to recognize that how much reliant on nuclear they are, and as such, they can most likely, I would think, if they're self-preservation, they're going to want to keep that on because they know, hey, we're going to tell people we got to keep nuclear, and then slowly but surely, under the covers of darkness, nuclear will stay in operation, which is what we need. I mean, that's all there is to it. Anyway, the point being is when capitulation happens and people just throw up their hands and say, "I'm done," that's the bottom. Now, is there, like Mr. Market? I think this is Ben Graham, maybe it's Buffett who said this. There's never a bell that rings. Oh, the market's at a bottom. No, but you can always kind of get a feel for the top too when people say, "Oh man, I should invest more. I can't have the G fund, or I should invest in Bitcoin." In fact, what is Bitcoin doing? Finny, stop. Bitcoin right now is at BT. Oops, BT is at right under 19,000. All right, so look, Bitcoin is no value there. I get it, but in terms of capitulation, Bitcoin is not a government bond. It's not a U.S. stock, and as such, people were saying when Bitcoin's at 60, 65,000, oh, I got to invest more in Bitcoin. No one's saying that now, right? Now, I mean, sure there are some people, but no one is also saying I need to invest more in bonds or even equities, and equities will probably drop a little bit more too. 30% decline is pretty significant. That's happened before. Not nearly a 20% decline as frequently, but a 30% decline has happened. When you get to 30%, that's probably where you see a capitulation on equities. We're close, not quite there, but bonds are certainly looking like the capitulation is beginning to happen. And as such, that typically means the bottom is here. Now, I don't know when, where, or how that's going to be. I absolutely could be wrong. I mean, we could be down 57%. That's what happened from October 1st, 2008 to March 9th of 2009, a 57% decline. And that could, I don't know, you don't know. That's never happened before, but it could in terms of what happened in 2000, the Great Recession. I don't expect that. I just don't expect that to happen because they had something called mark-to-market accounting, which destroyed liquidity. And the one thing we have now is liquidity. Now, could that change? Absolutely. I highly suspect it won't. Anyway, you start to feel it. I can smell it now. I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do. If you can't sleep at night, then you need to change your perspective. I get it. That means selling everything and going to cash. I think the same thing. I'm down, 18% where I was at the beginning of the year. That 18% is X amount of mortgage payments. That's always the way to look at it. But, I'm in there for the ride, man. I'm in there for the ride. As long as the money comes in terms of a paycheck that I get from YouTube and from people who hire me, I'm going to continue what I'm doing, which is stay in the market. If it doesn't come in and I have debt, I have to revisit things for sure. But as we sit here today, it's not here nor there. So I'm along for the ride. I'm still putting money in. I'd recommend you do the same unless you can't sleep at night. All right, love your thoughts. We'll see you.